I like Elon Musk, but I'm afraid to say this, but I mean, I have this engineering background, so that attracts me a lot about what he does. But one thing that I'm concerned, a big thing in my mind, is that he wants so much emphasis on progress. That's natural because of his work. But unfortunately, that has lots of good, but he also said that he doesn't want to have the population to go down, and he was afraid of it. I have a different idea. Right now, we as a human, we have crisis coming. I thought it was turbulence, but it's more than turbulence. It's gonna get worse. I hate to say this, but there's a huge potential. And I do the yard work and all the stuff in here. It's so peaceful. So this is old man talking, so it may not apply for young people who want to explore everything and do whatever. If I'm young, I may do that. But here's the thing. If we have this chaos and fight and whatever, and then the population goes down, I think it's good. Because we would learn something out of the progress or orientation toward progress, which may have a, you may call it unintended consequence. But if we have fight for difficulties and the fires and natural disaster, we need to wise up. The progress doesn't do any good if it helps promoting such chaos and the gap of wealth and poor widening. What I want to see, if my opinion may count, idea I have is that if we have to shrink down because of the war and so forth, we would finally wise up to appreciate what we got. You can appreciate the technology, but we can certainly appreciate the nature's way, which put us on this earth. But if you think nature is against you and to manipulate nature for your own benefit, the human ego, and I suspect this can happen, that all the unintended consequences, including this global, climate change and the war and all the barriers, differentiating and tribalism, that's not the smart way to live, wise way to live. So we learn the lesson, go through the pain, and the pain would help us to understand what's the end of this progress and start to realize we have this wonderful earth and start again, reconnect. So in a way, I was talking about this samadhi. You do things and then you get stuck and then you go through samadhi and then move on. But ultimately, we have to know ourselves, to limit our possibility using of mind, especially without consideration of the impact of the nature, this is everything. And some people left behind. So we need to wise up, and once we get to the level of the population going down and then become more and more serious about what to do, I tend to think that may be the point of more people to be awakened. I thought now is the time, but the tendency is the fire gets burning and burning and burning, and war and conflict and gap and no communication, tribalism. It's so painful, but we may do that way, which I don't like. But because of the pain, like each individual's learning comes with pain. Society's learning comes with pain. And people are starting to see what's the benefit of more population and all that. They start to realize that what's the world that we're bringing this new babies in and how they live. So nature is telling us that sperm count may be reduced. I don't know. I think that could be the case. And having a baby is becoming more difficult because it's like nature's telling us, you guys are not happy what you're doing. And that shows up biologically in terms of sperm count and whatever. I don't know the specific detail of how much is being done or if it is, but I tend to think that's one of the reasons. So we are starting to feel intuitively, what's the point? In my case, I go to a place like Santa Monica, but I come to New Zealand or Japan, and in the nature, I see a huge gap, and we have this heaven on earth. The bird and the sky, the ocean, stream, but things are changing. We are damaging the nature, which is our origin. So we don't have the respect to how we got here. We are only thinking forward to do something more. Go to the other planet. Fine. That's the way. It may be good. But I have a suspicious feeling that if you leave the earth alone like this, with messy situation and not being able to work together to do something, this is not the way to go. So, what's the conclusion? I have my conclusion. I don't spend money for anything, and just to make the most of what I've got, because I don't feel justified to create more waste, and so my money for whatever it will left to be used in the vipassana people to meditate, samadhi, and hopefully make right judgment. And the number of people is much, much, much small. But in the future, it may increase because the pain may be too hard to bear for us to think about what's the point of doing it. So we have to reawaken. I think we had the progression, but now the balance may be lost. We turn the corner into the wrong direction. I hate to say this because I don't want to be a person who can say this because I don't know. I don't have much knowledge to consolidate all the information, but just like the case of me living, if I don't listen to my heart and make a decision, it works. In a small space around me, I may have some accumulated wealth and all that, but the trend is more of everything and less of nature. Conquer the nature. Make the most of it. Take whatever you can. Listen to your heart. Listen to the nature. Don't be occupied in the mind. Don't be human-centric, egocentric. And be happy. It may take 100 years or 50 years or 1,000 years. I won't be here, but the challenge is there. Just a thought. Thank you.